Hello and welcome to Charter Local Edition Northwest. I'm Dana Cowley, your host today, and my guest is Ashland City Councilor Greg Lemhouse. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
One of the things you're working on is how to best serve some of your most vulnerable citizens in the city. Can you tell me what you'd like to do to streamline that?
Well, I think one of the things we can do much better than we've been doing in the past, whether it be government or nonprofit services that help serve people, is better collaborate and coordinate our services. You know, oftentimes I think each individual agency or organization thinks what they're doing is important and the best, and we compete for resources, but oftentimes we're competing for the same resources, delivering the same services. And I think if we better collaborate, we can really fit the needs of people who need those services.
Maybe could you give us some examples of some of the overlap you see in Ashland, and maybe some ideas about how you think that could be maybe consolidated or streamlined?
Well, I think the best example is someone who's living in poverty is really understanding where they're coming from. And someone who lives in poverty, it's really a daily battle to be able to live to the next day in terms of finances and housing and keeping the power on and making sure the kids are fed and getting to the appointments you need to get to. Even if they're getting government subsidized benefits, they're required to do certain things. And if you lack transportation, even in a town as small as Ashland, you may have to go all the way to Medford. And currently on the bus routes, it takes about an hour one way to get from Ashland to Medford to go to the DHS offices or other type of work service activities and get back to Ashland is another hour. And in that time, your child's in school, may need to be picked up, there may be other things you have to do. If you don't have really supportive transportation, it can be really difficult. And currently our bus routes only run on a limited basis in Ashland. So that's one obstacle people in poverty face. But also you've got competing organizations, not competing with each other in the sense, but really trying to fit the need. So if there are multiple organizations, for example, providing food or job search skills or housing support, which organization do I go to if I'm in poverty? And is there one better than the other? Wouldn't it be a better way if I went to one organization and they fit the need for what I needed, and if anything they tried to provide they couldn't, they could hand me off in a warm handoff to another organization that can fill that other need. And so we're not taking the same money and we're not wasting time.
Well, and I also think sometimes our people who are most vulnerable, if things become complicated and expensive or require a lot of computer or paperwork, it can overwhelm, intimidate people, and then the people who might need it the most and the people who we're really trying to serve don't get what they need. And so uncomplicating things can really reach for the edges.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to someone about this one time and she asked me, where's the handbook that I get when I'm in poverty that tells me what I need to do? I mean, there is no game plan. We don't expect people to be in poverty when you're in high school. They don't prepare people to be in poverty. So when you're in that situation, it can be overwhelming to determine, you know, where can I go and what can I do and how do I get assistance? So it's really important we find ways to reach out to people and we create a system that I think should be more one-stop shopping. So if I'm in crisis, I can walk into an area and say, these are the issues I'm having, how can you help me? And we can plug people in quickly and easily.
Well, and I think in Ashland, you have a population where that's perhaps maybe a little more tackleable than in a big major metropolitan area. So you're really a good size to try to do something like that.
Well, you would think, but you know, even smaller towns have their troubles.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm fortunate to serve on the board of the Ashland Emergency Food Bank, and we serve about 600 families a month just in Ashland. The problem that smaller communities face, really, transportation is a big deal. Lack of mass transit. There's no light rail, the buses don't run as much as we would like. It's difficult to get from point A to point B. And really, even in a smaller town where the services can be lacking, and we're fortunate in Ashland, but there's other places that suffer more, it's really not a matter of, can I keep all the balls in the air at the end of the day? It's a matter of which ones am I going to allow to drop, because it's virtually impossible for people, the working poor, those live in poverty, to get everything done that they need to get done to be able to support themselves or their families.
Well, and that gets depressing. And then it's hard to, you know, that's a vicious downward cycle, and it's hard to bring that back.
And then you make decisions you normally wouldn't make. So I think in Ashland we can do a much better job. I would like to see our city government, you know, form kind of a coordinating council, so to speak, of human service organizations, bring them together. Let's identify each need that we can fit, agree this is where we fit best, and work together as one team.
Thank you for coming on the set. I wish you the best of luck in what you're doing, and we thank you for watching. I'm Dana Cowley. This is Charter Local Edition Northwest.